really incredible because it's connected me with people all over the world, other types of athletes and veterans and different CEOs, and so it's definitely blown up over the last couple of years. But it's truly just a blessing to be able to share my story, help people, and encourage people to just live a healthier, better life.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're here for at the motivators table. We say, where
Yeah.
do motivators go and get motivated? When you come here, you sit at my table for about 45 minutes to an hour. And when you leave, you got that energy to put right back into that system that you're doing. And I tell people all the time, you can't help nobody else until you help yourself. And a lot of people are out here trying to do things and trying to do it for money. That's okay, but that's sometimes that's not really your calling. That's not really your gift. But you seem like you have that calling. And I saw your profile and everything like that. I said, you know what? Let me spotlight this young brother. Let me put him in a situation where the world can hear his story. So tell me how you was as a kid growing up.
Yeah, it's funny. As a kid, I was just all about sports all the time. I was in Taekwondo for a number of years, which just taught me a lot about discipline and respect and motivation, things like that. But then that kind of transitioned into playing football and playing basketball, and I joined a swim team when I was in eighth grade, and the transition between Taekwondo and swimming was really amazing because it was all about me, right? My performance, my outcomes, all just depended on me versus anyone else, which I really love. So it was kind of my fault if I succeeded or if I failed, which I'm okay with that. So, um, but yeah, that kind of just it took me into this life of helping other people, and especially when I was in Taekwondo, I started leading group fitness classes because people loved my energy and people loved how I was just engaging and supportive and things like that. So when I started swimming year round, I started coaching different clubs and summer swim teams and things like that. But then when I got into college, um, I just started coaching some of my teammates. So a lot of them had trouble with nutrition. A lot of them had trouble with exercises in the gym, and so um, which was really really cool. So I just did it for fun, just with my teammates. I held accountability groups, but then when I got to Texas A&M, which is where I got my kinesiology degree, um, I coached the A&M triathlon team for a couple years, which was unbelievable because I got to work with so many different kinds of athletes in the gym, in the pool, on the road. We were doing running and biking, things like that too. But it was just really motivating and supportive to have a team of people who relied on each other, supported each other, and had a similar goal we were all reaching towards, which was really cool.
I love that. I love the fact that I'm saying you dove right into that situation, the essence of it like that, and where the origin comes from, right? A lot of people don't know they're a coach, but you've been coaching all along. You've been motivating all along. You just decided, like, it's popular right now that we have our coaches and our speakers, but some of these people been doing this for years without no recognition. And we thank you for doing that and putting, what I'm saying, being on the ground and being understanding and loving on these people and doing it without nothing coming back. And I tell my people all the time, I said, hey, my dad gave me a briefcase as a birthday gift when I was 8, 9 years old. So I knew already he was trying to prompt me from like a businessman or an entrepreneur or a speaker or whatever. He used to tell me to take notes, listen to Zig Ziglar. I didn't even know who he was. Now I know who
Right.
Zig Ziglar is. So, it's amazing to hear that story, man. So
Thank
tell
you
me,
so much. Thank
let
you.
start telling me about your inner child. How was you as a little boy? Like just watching your parents or whoever raised you.
Well, so I don't tell this story a lot, but I'm originally from South Africa. I was born in South Africa. My parents ended up winning green cards in a lottery, and so we moved here to the United States, and we didn't really know what we were doing. We were kind of just making it up as we go, and I feel like a lot of people do the same similar stuff. But just learning about the school system, learning about sports, learning about football because that's not a thing in South Africa, and so it just caught my attention immediately, and I just really wanted to be involved with teams, with my friends, with just with sports. And so I mean it was tough because I English was not my first language, and so learning English and learning how to be friends and the school system, every kind, all that kind of stuff. It was really hard for a long time, but I figured it out, and I started to realize quickly that my passion was just helping other people. And I didn't even know for the longest time that being a coach could be a professional career until I got into high school or college. And so when I was younger, I just loved to help people, support people, and because it made them feel really good, which made me feel really good that I was able to do that for them.
Right, exactly. I love that too. I love that story that you said, you touched on it and made you feel really good doing that. You were serving. A lot of us don't know how to serve or know where to serve. And you found out early where you love to serve and you knew how to serve, and that's good. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes we have these situations where we get into as far as growing up as a kid and we're still trying to figure out who we are. You know, and that part of my story is called, activating your gift. We go around and we ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I asked them, how can I activate your gift? And it seems like you did that while you was early. What prompts you to understand this is going to be my calling?
Well, I just realized that I don't really see myself doing anything else, right? Like when COVID shut down, when COVID happened, everything shut down. I just found a way because I know I'm not going to go work at Starbucks. I'm not going to go do anything else because I genuinely love helping and supporting people because it makes me feel good. And that could be a selfish thing. I mean, I don't know because I want to feel good that I'm making a difference and I'm changing the world for the better. And however I can do that, I want to make sure I can do that. And so when I started True Fit, I started reading about business books and how to build a business and entrepreneurship and how to do my own taxes. These were all things that were new to me, and so it's been building every year, and I've been enjoying it even more, and now we've connected with Florida State football players, and I've connected with professional triathletes, and all of these people who are just genuinely wanting to improve themselves who kind of feel lost. And it's frustrating for them, right? They want to be better. They want to lead their families. They want to lead their careers stronger, healthier, with more presence. And it's tough when you don't have a plan or if you just don't know what you're doing, right? So that's kind of where we step in, give you that plan, give you that support system so that you can be more successful in your own life, which makes us feel that we're doing a good job.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about how you were too in high school. You know, that's when we develop a lot more of our characteristics and understand as, becoming a young man. So how was you in high school?
Man, it was good. I mean, I went to a really small high school. One of those schools in Texas where if you weren't on the football team, you were kind of a loser kind of thing because we were told that by many coaches. And so, and that was hard for us because I was the one guy who was on the football team. And although I love playing football, I have trust issues sometimes. And so I don't want to rely on other teammates. I want to make sure that if we're going to succeed, it's because of something that I did. Or if we're going to fail, it's because of something that I did. So I like taking ownership in that. I like being responsible with our wins and with our failures. And even though we had many wins, many failures, it was just it's all about the learning process, right? So when I was in high school, I was on the football team for a couple years, but then I told my coach, I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry, I'm not in this anymore, and I'm really good at swimming, and I'd rather go do that, which I got made fun of because that was something that was unheard of in my high school. My high school didn't have a swim team, so I went off and swam on a club team. They're called Nitro, and they're a world class club swim team. They produce a lot of Olympian swimmers, a lot of D1 athletes, and so I went off to swim with this club, and that's kind of when I removed myself from some of my friends, some of my coaches, which really hurt in the moment because I felt like I wasn't being included in what was normal, right? But as an entrepreneur, as a young entrepreneur, which I didn't know back then, it's okay to go off on your own, do something that makes you happy, and pursue something that is something that you want to do. And so I swam all through high school, which led me to swimming in college, and I made new friends. I made lifelong friends in college just around the swimming community, around the triathlon community, and it's a triathletes are crazy, I mean, I've done an Ironman triathlon before, which was super fun, but they're on a different level, man. Like they will train and everything about their lives is just devoted to themselves, their health, their mindset, their happiness. And I fell in love with that crowd immediately.
I love that. I love the fact
Yeah.
that you found your tribe. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot for a kid to find his tribe in high school and feel accepted, right? So you was in Texas. And football is big in Texas. I grew up in California.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I understand how that feeling is to feel like, hey, you know what? If I don't do this, then they're going to do this. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But you found it quickly and you stood on what you wanted to stand on. I wanted to become a swimmer. And I'm going to do, or I'm going to do this. So, let's talk more about that triathlete. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand that's multi-dimensional athlete. It's not just one sport. It's a lot of things. Put your body through a lot of endurance. Just like basic training on going through all these courses in the military is strenuous. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I got into triathlons my junior year of high school, and I was just doing kind of local triathlons, which in order is a swim, a bike, and then a run. And there's many different levels, right? You can do a sprint, you can do an Olympic, you can do a half Ironman, a full Ironman. There's even an ultra Ironman, or an Ultraman, which is 2 Ironmans back to back, which is insane. Um, but again, I fell in love with it immediately because one, I'm a really good swimmer, and so the swimming part is usually what triathletes struggle with the most, and that's the leg that I was the strongest at. So I was usually the first out of the water on that first leg. Got on the bike. The bike was my weakest part of the triathlon, just because I didn't. I mean, I had a bike growing up, but it's not like I was training on the bike a ton. But I was also in cross country in high school too, so I'm a really good runner as well. So the swimming and running, I feel like, are the things that I really was strong in, and so um, I fell in love with triathlons. The cool part is, man, you get like free food and free beer at the end, so like that was pretty cool. But then when I got into A&M, when I became the coach for the triathlon team, that's when I really started setting higher goals for myself. Right, I started seeing that like I can become a coach, I can actually turn this into a career. I signed up for that Ironman triathlon,
Wow.
which total is 140 miles between the swim, the bike, and the run, and so that took me just under 12 hours to do.
Hmm.
I did that when I was 21 years old in Houston, and my wife now, who was my friend at the time, she was there. She was supporting me, and a freak storm came through that
Mm.
day, and we actually had to pause the race for about 45 minutes because there was hail and there was lightning and all this kind of stuff, and so we had to pause the race. We were passing around chips and grapes and standing in 3 inches of water with our shoes on, but it finally blew over and we were able to continue, and I was able to finish. And that was, I wouldn't say it's the highlight of my career, but it was definitely something that kickstarted a lot of things for me, just knowing that I was able to sign up for something that I thought was actually impossible, right? And I was terrified going into, because I was like, this is a 12-hour race. If I am I even going to fuel myself properly? Am I even going to finish? There were some people on the run who were passing out and had to go to the hospital.
Mm.
So it was pretty intense, but just the fact that I was able to sign up for something that terrified me, trained for it, and actually completed it, that put a coach's high in my mind, just about pushing yourself, believing in yourself, getting after your goals, and once you actually complete them, it is the most rewarding feeling that you'll ever feel in your life.
Well, I love that. I love the way you explained it too, because that just talks about life and what you want out of it yourself. And you already addressed you wasn't the strongest biker, but you was a swimmer. But you, guess what? A lot of people do things and they think that you got to be the best at it, but no, it's just stay the longest, be consistent, just get through the pain. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people all the time, when I was in the military, I wasn't the best at everything, but guess what? I got through it and I did, and I left my mark. Even with the motivational speaking, I know I'm the best, but I know there's other things out there that make me better. But guess what? Hey, I'm consistent. I got the blinders on. I'm gonna keep moving forward every day, one foot in front of the other, making sure that I'm the best version of myself. So that's what you seem like that you're doing. You made sure that you was the best version of yourself. So right now, tell me right now in your life, like what you got going on in your company. Let's talk about your company.
Yeah, so True Fit right now is, I mean, it's all about helping other people honestly just stop driving themselves into the ground, right? Like what True Fit does, we don't sell fitness programs or motivation or anything like that. We sell support systems, right? We want to make sure that you are in a repeatable system that you know you can commit to even on your worst days, right? And these repeatable systems that we create for CEOs and high level leaders and veterans and entrepreneurs, we give you the structure that you need to protect your energy, protect your longevity, your confidence, and your mindset, because those things are what's going to keep you going, right? So over the last couple of years, my company has definitely grown quite a bit. I used to just advertise on Facebook and just trying to help out anyone and everyone that I possibly could. But it got quite overwhelming because at one point I had like 40 clients,
Mm.
which is great. And I love helping out all these people, but it was quite taxing. It took a lot out of me. And that's when I realized I wanted to kind of take my business to the next level. So we started reaching out to CEOs and different organizations and veteran companies and things like that to see where else can we provide our services to some of these higher level leaders who are shaping the world, right? Because I don't know if you've noticed, the world is uh, not at the best point right now, and I feel like a lot of this could be because of physical and mental health. And I'm a firm believer on, if you can focus on yourself, focus on where you are going, how you can support your family, how you can support your business, so that other people can live healthier, happier, more comfortable, then we're going to put the world back on a better track. And so um, that's what we do. We want to make sure that leaders can perform at that higher level, but without sacrificing their mental and physical health.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you hit on that mental and physical health because it's big right now. A lot of people are hashtagging it, but guess what? We dig deeper. Who's doing the work? Who's out here really front line, really talking about it? Who's helping it? Who's putting in that front line, right? So I tell people all the time, I did 77 days inpatient. You know what I'm saying? I had to get myself right with the PTSD and the TBI. It didn't never go away because 55 months of combat. But guess what? I'm out here trying to do the work. I failed over and over and over and over again. I went out and hugged trees, did ayahuasca, did bufo, did a lot of things to try to get myself together. Went to Costa Rica for 9 weeks, trying to get that mental, did Reiki, all that stuff, and that's why I'm here where I'm at right now because I feel like it's a mind, body, and soul thing, and that's what the generation has to understand in this world. That hey, you know what? If we get them three parts right, we'll be a better country. A lot of us just living off like just pure instinct and physicality and body, but you're not digging deeper with your soul. You're not digging deeper with your mind. You're not elevating. A lot of people stop learning at high school. I don't need to get another education, or you stop learning at other situations. I think every day we need to learn something new. That's why I do everybody. When I get on the motivators table, I listen and I learn and I pick up. Can you tell me about your learning ability, your learning curve?
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time.
Can you tell me about your learning ability and your learning curve? What do you learn on a daily basis?
Oh yeah, man. So I mean, I'm constantly reading books just about mental health, about business, about how to talk to people, how to win people over. Not that I'm trying to manipulate people, but also I need to understand how to talk to people so that they feel heard, right? And they feel understood, because people aren't going to want to trust you or want to work with you if they don't feel like you can actually trust them.
Right.
And so over the course of True Fit and my coaching career over the last 15, 20 years, I just started to realize that it's hard for a lot of people. Fitness and health came pretty naturally to me, but for a lot of people who care about their health and care about their mentality and their confidence and how they can show up in their business and in their family, it's not natural for a lot of people. And so we've changed how True Fit operates and the systems that we create for people based off of what they're struggling with the most. And it's very different for a lot of different people. That's why what we do is very tailored to the specific person, because everyone has different schedules. People have different limitations, different abilities. People have food restrictions. And so we want to make sure that what we build for you is actually going to make sense for you, right?
Mm.
I have a lot of clients who come into True Fit who say, oh, we've done Beachbody, we've done Jenny Craig, we've done all these different plans and programs before. And yeah, they do work for sure, but they're also restrictive and they give you extreme methods. And again, like those things can work short term, they don't teach you how to reach your goals and maintain your goals long term. And so that's kind of how our system is different, is we want to make sure that we don't only help you reach your goal, we help you build a sustainable lifestyle that you actually enjoy, so that you can, over the next 30, 40 years, maintain your goals, continue to rise up, continue to feel confident in your body, and to know that you're actually on a system that's going to, you know, give back to you, right?
I'm listening. Yeah, definitely. And you created that system and everything like that. And those are your competitors. And how did you choose your niche in understanding that, you know what, I know what the industry needs? That's what a lot of entrepreneurs don't know. Like,
Yeah.
they want to know that I can make money, but you got to find what the industry needs. So how did you find that?
Well, I think a lot of people they don't get burnt out because they're failing at whatever they're doing, or what they're doing is not good enough for them. They're burnt out because they're not succeeding in a system that works best for them, right? So we want to make sure that what we give you is not going to add to your life. It's not going to add to the stress, because if your stresses are high, your cortisol levels are going to be high, and then losing weight or feeling better or feeling more energized, it's going to be a lot harder. So we want to remove that friction and implement simple, like I said, a simple, repeatable system that takes up very little time and very little energy, that you know you can actually commit to every single day, even on your worst days. Because there are some times in other programs where it's like, if you can't get in this hour-long workout, you get to mark it off as like, I couldn't do it, and then move on to the next day, which then
Right.
you feel bad about.
Right.
But on the flip side, in True Fit, if we can just focus on the next 7 days with drinking 2 liters of water, I can promise you, you'll be down a pound or two, and you'll most likely have a little bit more energy, right? So we want to make sure we are actually creating a foundational baseline. And as we create these healthy habits, and as you start to implement them into your life, it gets easier and easier and easier to stay consistent with it. And once you are, then we can implement another healthy habit, like eating more protein, right? Or going on walks, or journaling, or meditating. Like, these are all things that seem very easy to do, and some of them maybe feel like a little bit uncomfortable, but if we can commit to it for 7 days, you're going to see a huge outcome at the end of it.
Definitely, you're going to see a huge, and I love that, because if you put the effort in 30, 60, 90 days, the average person doesn't see their effort or see anything until like 120 days, right? I did sports medicine and human health and performance when as my associates in my bachelor's, so I
That's
understand
awesome.
that, you know what I'm saying? So I did that at Kaiser University. When I retired military, I got my associates and bachelor's in sports medicine.
That's very
So,
cool.
but everybody's body is different. How do you gauge that person when they come in, mind, body, and soul? Like, you give them a workout or a plan for their body, but do you also attack their mind too?
Yeah, so we first want to get really clear on your current situation, right? What are you struggling with physically, mentally, with your schedule, with your kids? Like, what are some of the things that are creating more stress in your life, right? We want to get really clear on your current situation, and then figuring out what are some things that we know we can get rid of or eliminate, right? Not eliminate more time with your kids, or eliminate, showing up early to work, but what are some things that we know that may not be supporting us long term, right? Then we can implement things that we know will support you long term. Because if your goal is to lose 30 pounds, yes, reaching that goal in 6 months, or even in 3 months, is very possible. But then it's about knowing how to maintain that.
Hmm.
And so I would rather focus on slower, more consistent progress that even takes 10 years to get to, but that way you know it's permanent,
Right, right,
right? And a lot of people who go onto a restrictive diet, or sign up for a 90-day challenge, or commit to like extreme workouts, like I said, yes, it can work, but you don't create that mindset around consistency,
right,
right? When you sign up for a diet, now you're not allowed to have X, Y, and Z. And also, there's an end date. This diet's going to be for 3 months because I want to lose 30 pounds in 3 months. Well, that's great, and it can work. But then once you lose the 30 pounds, and once the diet is over, now you start to implement some of the things back into your lifestyle that was holding you back. And now you gain the weight back. Now your mindset falls off track again, and your life goes up and down, up and down. And we don't want to see inconsistency with that, because that's going to be taxing on your body and on your mind long term. But
right.
if we start thinking long term, like, if I'm 31 now, by the time that I'm 50, I want to still be able to play a full round of golf without any aches and pains,
Mm,
right? Like, that's my goal. I want
right,
to make sure I can still go to the store and carry everything in on one trip. I want to
right,
still make sure that I can, keep up with my kids, or see my grandkids graduate. That's my goal in life. And I want to make sure that I'm building something for myself now that can get better every year as we get closer to our old age.
I love that, man. I love how you broke that down, and I love how you
Yeah.
talk about the longevity of it. You know, and I think I'll be 45 in July. You know, been through a lot of trials and tribulations with my body, downrange, combat, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I heard a lot, but guess what? I make sure that I eat well, and I make sure I do my walks with my dogs. I make sure that I do my hour a day workout, just making sure I stay consistent and moving forward. And because I don't want to be that 67-year-old man that, yeah, I've been through some things, but I don't want to be broken down and I can't play with my grandkids or even just start to live my life, you know what I'm saying, on that other side of 50, you know?
Exactly. And like I feel like in business, right? Like a lot of people rely on having that structure. They go off of metrics, they have accountability, they have a team supporting of people supporting you and helping you reach your goal. And that works really well. But then
Right.
when it comes to your health, you cannot rely on willpower and motivation and extreme methods because those things will never last.
Never, never. The
Yeah.
motivation gets you out the house, but when you get in that gym, you're gonna have to get to work. You're gonna have to really, like, I tell people all the time, I said, your body is your postcard. When you walk in, that's your marketing. When you open your mouth, your business, even if you're selling food, they're gonna see
Yeah.
how you look and how you act. And I tell people all the time, I can't get on the stage and give you no substance if I'm not doing the same work I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Because
like it.
yeah, because you're a motivational speaker. So if you don't show up with energy, people aren't
Right.
going to want to trust you.
Exactly. And show up that I get up, I do the work. I put the work in, you know what I'm saying? So I
Oh
do
yeah.
my meditation, I do my affirmation, I do my prayers, I do my gym, I do my soul searching, all these things. So when I get up there, I don't want nobody like, hey, you're trying to sell me $1 million, but you don't even have $1 million. I don't want to be that type of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what you run into in this industry because it's lucrative. It's like, hey, do this, but I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not. That's not the type of coach or speaker I am. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, have you ran into that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because a lot of CEOs and even veterans who start their own company, they are really struggling with their health and their mindset. And the thing is, they're looking to hire people and they're looking to make connection deals and collaborations with other companies. And so, if your energy is not where it needs to be, or if your confidence is not where it needs to be, they can see that, and they're not going to want to work with you if they can see that, right? Because your energy and your confidence and how you show up affects everything. It affects your decision making. It affects your emotional control, and it even affects your presence in your business with your family. And it over time, it's like erosion, right? Like over time, it gets worse and worse and worse. And if we don't start now or as soon as we can, then it's going to continue to get worse. So sometimes, if you have that long-term goal of by the time I'm 60 or 70 years old, I want to have $10 million. I want to have a huge family that loves me and supports me. We got to start now and start building that foundation so that by the time we do get there, it's where we want it to be.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
love how you touched that too, because if you want to have something, you got to work now. And
Yeah.
a lot of this generation is microwavable. They want everything instant, and don't know that your trade and what God put inside of you, that's $10,000 that's 10,000 hours that you got to perfect of
Right.
your craft. More than 10,000 hours, because if you get up here and try to do it, you're not gonna look like you've been studying for the test, right? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
tell me about the clients you have right now.
Yeah, so I've got clients all over the country. I have got a few in Canada. I have a lot in Florida. A lot of people in Florida who are 60 plus have a big belly and they just want to be better at tennis or better at pickleball. So we make sure we're helping them build that foundation, build some healthier habits around their nutrition so that their metabolism can be boosted a little bit, their energy can be boosted a little bit. That way that belly can go down and they can just feel a lot more energized. But lately, I've connected with a lot of veterans, especially veterans who are transitioning out of the military, because before they had that structure, they had that accountability, they had a system in place where they had to be a part of it. Like they didn't have a choice. And you have these quarterly fitness tests that you have to pass. And so there's your motivation that you have to be, right? But once you leave, you have a family, we're looking for a job, you kind of feel lost, you kind of lose your identity, you lose your purpose a little bit, and it can spiral into a depression, and then it's really hard to pull yourself out of that depression if you are alone. And so we created an online community for veterans to come in, be a part of a community, to rediscover that purpose, to recreate that internal structure that you crave so much, so we can give you that support system that you need to keep on moving forward, give you that accountability, be like, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's make sure we're hitting the gym. Let's make sure we're eating more protein. Because even though these things are things that everyone knows that you should be doing, it's hard to stay on track if you are alone in the process. And so we built this online community for that support system so that that you feel included, right? You feel like you're a part of something that's bigger than you, which is powerful, right? I used to be part of a running group, and we would meet 3 times a week, and we'd run for an hour. I can tell you right now, I wouldn't do that if I was by myself, right? But if I'm with someone who can hold me accountable, and it's a lot more fun if you're with people, it's also just not as tiring because your mind is not about, wow, this sucks. It's about, I'm happy that I'm with my friends, that we're all pushing each other to reach a goal. So, yeah, so I've had Division I athletes come into TrueFit because a lot of them are in their 40s and they're starting a family, they're starting a business, and they're used to that extreme workout program that they had when they were in college. And so now that they're out, again, they don't have that team supporting them. They don't have the accountability. They don't have the meetups that they're having every single day, or the kitchen that's just giving them the food that they need. Right now, it's on you to make the food, to go out shopping, to do everything that you need to be doing. And again, if you don't have a plan or if you don't have a system in place, then you can fall off track very quickly. You can order food 4 times a week, and after a couple months or a couple of years, you've realized I've picked up 30 to 40 pounds and I don't know what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we try to reset the system here and just make sure we're doing the right thing and we're giving you that structure and that accountability that you need.
I love that. I love that you're giving them and you're holding them accountable, because a lot of people, they don't have structure. You know, if you wasn't military, you don't have you don't have the structure or the discipline a lot, right? And a lot of people in the military too, when they get out, they say, I don't want, I think that is the best thing a person can have is discipline and structure. Making sure that you understand you have a North Star. When you get up in the morning, you can do X, Y, and Z, but make sure you stick to the script, right? And you have your discipline, because it holds you accountable. Because even sometimes I have the Apple Watch, and if I don't hit my certain calories a day or my steps, I'm mad because it held me accountable. I got to take it off sometimes. I'm like, I can't wear that because now it's really chirping at me like, hey.
Now I feel bad, right?
I feel bad, you know what I'm saying? So tell me what you got going on for the near future.
Yeah, so right now, like I said, we're connecting with a lot of veteran groups, a lot of companies like Seven Eagle Group, Allegiant Vets. They're starting to build communities for veterans and for families, right? They're literally building homes and communities for these transitioning veterans because a lot of them have trouble getting homes, or a lot of them have trouble in the school system. They just don't know what they're really doing, and so we've started connecting with some of those guys and tried to implement some of our systems into their communities that they're building, which has been really awesome. And we've been talking about me coming in person and leading some fitness classes and teaching some of their on-site trainers as well, so that they can continue to teach the veterans that they have in the communities. And you know, a lot of veterans, because they know a lot about health and fitness and nutrition, and they are very motivating, they, once they leave, become personal trainers themselves. But then again, they don't really know how to run a business or how to do taxes or like what all goes into running a business. And so we're holding business clinics and you know, things for the kids, and just so they can learn what real life is all about. And so I think what we're doing now is training the next generation to bring this world back up, right? There's bringing faith back into the community is huge, and so we're definitely focusing on that part as well. But just connecting with people on LinkedIn, which is how I found you as well, because a lot of people on LinkedIn they have big visions. They have these goals for the world, for the next generation, and even you, like, right, we're trying to put out this content so that we can be helpful to more people and hopefully inspire them and motivate them to go out and do something that they know they're struggling with. And so that's why I'm just so thankful that I'm here, because I want to make sure that we can support people and do the right thing for the next generation.
Exactly. And shout out to Seventh Eagle and Allegiant and Vets to PM. I speak for them every quarter. Seventh Eagle, you know, I have a 12-month contract with them. I speak once a month, 1,000 veterans, and I love it because they're doing something special over there. These are transitional companies for veterans that I didn't have that opportunity when I got out. I never even got offered to go learn a skill set and then get out into the real world. It was like, oh, you done? You retired? Get up out of here. You done? You know what I'm saying? I had to figure out myself, and then I started a company, and then I went far, and then I went bankrupt. But I didn't know none of these things. I got my PNP later. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand none of that. So shout out to Seventh Eagle. You know, they gave me a huge 12-month contract to speak to them. Shout out to Allegiant. Shout out to Vets, to PM. You know, they're doing things, special things. And I speak big in the veteran community. You know what I'm saying? They got the MIC coming up. They got the military con coming up. The Creator Con coming up. It's a lot of things they got coming up, and I'm there, and I'm speaking, and I'm contributing, you know what I'm saying, because veterans, we do have a voice. We just got to get it together. But it took me a while to get here because I had to heal myself first. I had to go get the healing. I had to talk. I couldn't come out here and, as the kids say, in cap. I'm not going to go out here and tell false narratives about anything like that, man. So how blessed are you that you got to work with these veteran transitional companies? Can you tell me about a scenario that you had that just touched your spirit when you worked for one of these companies?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's incredible. And I didn't know that about you, so that's incredible that you're with Seven Eagle Group as well. They're an incredible company. I had Jordy, the CEO, I had him on my podcast, and that's how we connected. And he's a great guy. He's got a lot of visions, and he's doing this because he genuinely loves the community. And we want to make sure that we're giving back to the veterans who served our country, right? They served us, and now it's time for us to serve you in your time of need. And so I've just, my mindset around health and fitness and just helping people has totally shifted ever since I started connecting with veterans last year. Just because they're on a different level in terms of like, one, I feel a little lost in terms of what to do, but also I desperately need help, right? And a lot of people feel too proud or even sometimes embarrassed to reach out for help. But honestly, that's the absolute best thing that you can do is just reach out for help and ask questions, right? Because there are people out there who are willing to help for free. But then obviously we have paid programs as well. But that's why we're here, man. We want to make sure we're helping you and giving you the right tools so that you know how to move on in your life and lead your family, lead your career with more presence, more energy. And yeah, the veteran community is awesome because a lot of them, they show up, right? Like I have weekly coaching calls with my clients and they show up and they're there and they're full of energy and they ask questions and all this kind of stuff. So which is great because it challenges me as a coach, but that's what I want. Like I want them to challenge me. I want to give that feedback to them so that they can actually take something amazing from this.
Exactly, and I love that because that's where my heart is at. People ask me, what's your niche? And I cover everything, but where my heart is at is the veterans because I served, you know what I'm saying? I lost a lot of guys in combat, and I lost a lot of guys doing suicide coming back. So my dear heart is to them and making sure that they understand that the ones that never made it back, I do that for them. I make sure I stand up for them. I make sure I represent for them. I represent everywhere I go. I don't care how I look. I was there from here to here. I did this. These guys know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we spend our time in the desert. So man, I appreciate you. You know, we got about we winding down right now, and I want you to dig deep in your bag and give us some words of inspiration.
Yeah, so especially in the veteran community, I mean, they have a lot on their shoulders, right? They have a lot to carry, and it can feel heavy sometimes. But also CEOs, right, and high-level performers, like they have a lot of responsibility, and it can become really stressful. And I'm a firm believer on that leadership is not about how much you can carry; it's about how long you can carry it well, right? And you can't carry it well for too long if you are not working on your own physical and mental health, okay? Because everything around you will get better or worse depending on how you are. Right? How you treat situations, how reactive you are, your mindset around things, how positive or negative that you are around different situations. And so I think the bottom line here, man, is going to be the goal is not to grind harder and to push yourself harder. It's to stay in the game longer with more energy, healthier, with more presence and more confidence, because that's what life is all about. And if you can get to the point where you're 80 years old and you are healthy and you're fit and everyone loves you and you're confident and Like that's my goal in life, and I hope that that's the goal for everyone else too.
Man, I love the fact that you said that, and that's your goal in life, and that's all of our goal, to make sure that whatever we do, we put our best foot forward. And
Yeah.
this is how we do it. We come here to the motivators table, we talk about it, we understand, where the healers go get healed, where the motivators go get motivated. You come sit down here at this motivators table and we talk about the things that we understand. And when you leave
Yeah.
here, you got a lot, I filled your cup back up. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you for just coming on, taking your time. And, that's crazy that I didn't even know we had crossed paths before, like working for the same people. And that's probably why our algorithms cross, because with Jordy and Seventh Eagle and then Allegiant and then Vets the PM, you know, I just started speaking for them last year. And when I start speaking for them, it's not because I'm teaching a class. I'm just letting them know what it looks like, because we didn't have this type of programs. We didn't have this type of guidance. I didn't have this type of leadership. It was like, hey, you ready to get out? Okay, retire, go fix your mental health. What? Where do I go from here? I was once this hero,
How
but
do I do that?
how do I do that?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for just, taking that challenge and helping. I'm not the voice of the vets, but thank you I appreciate you for just standing up, doing that for us, and I want you to let the world know, live on my platform, live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, where we can find you on your social medias, and what's next for you.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, but you can find me on Instagram as well. Just True Fit Academy. My website, truefitacademy.com. You guys can read a little bit more about my journey, read a little bit more about the vision of True Fit, who we've helped in the past, how we can support you, like exactly what are the steps that we bring you through, and hopefully it matches where you're trying to go, what you need to best support you. Where we're going, man, the sky's the limit. Like I want to keep on going and connecting with more veteran groups, connecting with more universities, and connecting with more organizations that are just helping bring up this next generation, right? Because even though we are wanting to support the next generation, it really starts with our generation, so that we are healthier, we are stronger, we are happier, so that we can pass that down to our kids and to everyone else who looks up to us.
I love that, man, and I love the fact that you want to pass that down. And we try to auto-correct this generation. We can fix it. We just got to stand in the gap and be there, and that's what I'm doing
Yeah.
as who I am and what I have done, and even further along my education. You could be all you can be. You know what I'm saying?
Because we can tell the next generation what to do, but they won't listen, right? What will work better is if we show them what to do.
Exactly. And that's what I'm out here doing. It's showing them that you could be a better person, whoever it is. You don't have to be military, whoever it is. This is what time it is. We going from like, I didn't know that I would wake up in January and I'll be top 50 motivational speakers in the world. But when I healed myself, I was able to tell my story and touch other people serving. So when you get out the military, sometimes you think that you're not serving no more. Yes, you are. This is how we serve. And I want to let you know, man, we are proud of you, and you're special. And don't stop what you're doing. Keep going. Thank you for just going around and just telling your story and letting people know, hey, man, this is what it is. You do this. You're not trying. You out here doing it. And
Yeah.
whatever you need, some advice, or whatever you need help, and whatever you need, like, hey, just words of inspiration, pull up one of my videos. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out how we can help. Because guess what? We still need help too. Motivators need to get motivated, and healers need to be healed. And I heard a saying, you don't become a healer till you find the antidote that heals you. So you have to be able to understand who you are. You know what I'm saying? And I have this story that I always tell people before we get off the air is, there's two animals distinctly that understands, that knows when a storm is coming. It's a cow and it's a bull. A lot of us are cows. We run away from the storm. We keep running, and we complain about it, and we make stories about it because it feels good. It feels like we need to understand it. Become the bull. Turn around and go back into the eye of the storm. Get through the trials, tribulations, and then come back and tell us stories how you can help us get through it. And that's what I am now. I'm a bull. I'm able to say, you know what? I got in front of my ugly. I told my story. Now let me help you, because this is what it looks like. We thank you for just coming on, Johnny. We thank you for just telling your story and being present, and understanding that it takes a lot of love to coach people, because sometimes it gets irritating.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is a blast, man. You crushed it, and yeah, I look forward to rewatching this and sharing this with everyone else.
Definitely, man. What we're gonna do here, man, is just thank you, Motivators Table. Thank you, Los Angeles Tribune. Thank you, Seventh Eagle. Thank you, Allegiant. Thank you, Vets to PM. Thank you, Riverside panel, for our understanding and giving me a platform to tell our story and get in front of our ugly and activate our gift. Hey, I can't wait to see you guys on our next channel. Motivators, mount up. Boom.